Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lorelei Shamayo. This is Metaphysical Empowerment and Wellness Events. We interview our readers, healers, and vendors so you get a sense of who we are before you come to one of our fairs. So I'm here today interviewing Joe Casey, and he also works with Patti Leahy. So Joe, tell us a bit about what you and Patti both do, what you share at the fairs.
Well, we work together and we call it World Energy Healing. It sounds ambitious, but we think if we start with one person at a time, and eventually the world will get healed because everybody will share it. We have what appear to be different modalities that we work in. Patti specializes in flower essences and flower essence consultations, so she guides people into really enhanced vibration, and the whole idea of the thing, of everything that we do. We do soul path clearing, which is something we do non-locally. We do home and land energy clearing, and we do private sessions and some group work too. But all of it is about one thing. It's about raising the vibrations and releasing discordant stuff that doesn't serve us. So everything works for that. Everything is about, yeah, we all have stuff. We have stuff that we carry from our ancestors. We have stuff from society. We have stuff from past lives, if we think that's possible. We have stuff from this life. Things that are attached to us. Ideas, thought forms, beliefs people have put into us, all kinds of stuff. So our idea is, by releasing that in one of these ways, people will benefit. People will vibrate higher. People will be happier, or well, maybe not right away, but at least more expanded. Because there's one wonderful teacher who says, well, at first in my work, and I could say this too, at first in my, you may not feel better, but you'll know better how to feel. You'll learn how to feel in a way that you might not have known before, and by becoming more aware of the feelings. For a lot of people, there's an initial period of like, oh, this is different, and maybe not comfortable, but we're feeling better because we're feeling things we didn't feel before. So all of these modalities, I do personal sessions, I do hypnosis and emotional freedom work that is really quite transformative in the same way that clearing can be transformative, but there's for slightly different purposes. The clearing work we do is not usually in somebody's presence. Soul path clearing we do, I've done it for people in China and Hong Kong and the Philippines and Saudi Arabia, all kinds of strange places. And then we get on the phone or Skype and resolve the issues that have come up to some degree. So everybody gets lighter as a result of any of these practices. And that includes getting your house cleared too, because it's amazing. It's just amazing how the places we live can have their own programs. The people have lived there before. People have had fights there before. People have died there before. People have, who knows what's happened there before. And all of it resonates from the walls and from the earth. And the earth never forgets anything that happened. Not anything. So we've discovered massacres from hundreds of years ago that just, that affect the people who live there today. So all of this is a way of lightening the load. Does all this make sense so far?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, and the flower essences, and that's mainly what we have in the booth showing is flower essences, and I'm going to be doing instant clearing.
That's why I was wondering, what is it like? What does your booth look like, and what is it like for someone when they step up to the booth, and how does it get discovered? What happens?
Well, they'll see a bunch of flower essences, and maybe wonder what
little
that
vials, is. Like little vials,
little 1 ounce bottles, and they can sample, and then go away and feel. Oh, do I feel anything from this? And sometimes people do right away, sometimes not. But that's because we all need an education in being better at feeling. And the flower essences are subtle energy things. So if you don't feel anything, then there's a clue. There's something to learn, something to expand into. We could feel all these things, and we could all be really healers by letting go of those things that are in the way of that. In
So
fact,
this,
we are anyway. I mean, everybody is doing that anytime they want, really, just being a healing presence.
so what is it like for someone entering into kind of your booth space? It sounds like they might be drawn to particular flower essences, or maybe I'm imagining, do they come with a question and does Patti make suggestions, or how does that work?
Well, we do a lot of pendulum dowsing. And as far as flower essences are concerned, if somebody, we let somebody pick their own. They can use a pendulum, they can just pick it. They can read labels and be analytical about it. It doesn't matter, because we're always going to get something that's useful to us. So we do a lot of sampling of flower essences, and there are a few other herbal products too that Patti has made for, oh gosh, 20, 25 years. And I should mention the Occupy Medical connection. Patti's been making herbal formulas and being the herbal coordinator for growing and making stuff for Occupy Medical now for, I think, 5, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things have been tested, and the patients at Occupy Medical have given us unsolicited testimonials for the flower essences. And they're not like woo-woo people who are saying, oh gosh, this is like new age. They're just saying, this worked for me.
I'm not familiar with Occupy Medical. Is it like a brick and mortar retail location? Is it
No,
online?
it's a weekly free clinic for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Many of the patients are homeless. I would say probably most. And it's a huge volunteer operation that is truly one of the great things ever created by humans. It's beautiful and wonderful, and we're happy to be even a small part of it.
And is it in the local city where you are, or is it
It's
a
in
number of
Springfield.
cities? Or
It's every Sunday from 12 to 4. And I guess people need to know that, otherwise that's why we're telling them.
And is it in Eugene, Oregon? Where is it?
Springfield.
Oh, Springfield, Oregon. Okay, great.
Yeah, and it's there every week, every Sunday noon for 4 hours, and it's a wonderful thing. And so the connection is that Patti has been making these things or facilitating the making of them for all these years, and they've been tested really quite well on a fairly objective audience. And so that's what's at the booth. And then I'll be there with a much smaller presentation that says, talk to me. I'll do a 15-minute little mini session with you that kind of mimics, or your house for that matter, that tells you 3 or 4 or 5 things that are going on. And then we'll have a little kind of clearing about those 3 items. Let's say somebody that's really come to the fore, an ancestral program of, fathers devaluing their sons. That comes up. It could be anything. It could be sadness, could be, and then we'll just clear that one little program, right? And then another one, and then maybe 3 or 4. And that's been very interesting and successful for me at public events, just to give people a little taste of what a full clearing could be like.
Well, can you say a little bit more about the different energetic healing tools that you use?
Yes, soul path clearing is sort of combined with home and land clearing, because it's the same methodology. Mm-hmm. Basically, when I do it, I'll speak for myself. When I do it, I'm sitting right here in this same place I'm sitting now, and I have a quite complex notebook that we've created over the years that has, dare I say, a lot of the possibilities for human misbehavior and or negative programming of one kind or another. And so what we're doing, it's the same thing that most really good healing methods do, is at the beginning you have to focus on what's not right. So we focus, as a healing method like emotional freedom technique is, you say, even though I'm hurting, even though my elbow hurts and the pain is terrific, but we have to go to the negative to heal it. We have to acknowledge the presence of the negative. My elbow hurts. Yeah, absolutely. And even though my elbow hurts, I love and accept myself. And that has a magical effect that I have not yet been able to explain. So this happens in the soul path clearing. We clear a program. We clear an ancestral program. We clear a series of ancestral programs that have been affecting a person. Now, it doesn't eliminate them from their life completely, but it certainly softens the control that the ancestral beliefs, the ancestral unconscious teachings, the ancestral expressed teachings, like this is how life is, all of that stuff comes down to us from our ancestors, and maybe it hasn't been true. So we're looking at that and saying, well, what if these beliefs aren't true and haven't served you? And if you didn't believe that, then things would be different. And then we can do some release work on that. That's what the phone session part is about soul path clearing, is we release the things that we have discovered in the energy field. And this can be done anywhere. It's amazing. I mean, it's like happy people in, in all kinds of strange places. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, so it sounds like from what you said earlier, it sounds like Patti's been involved in flower essences for a very long time. And then what has been your path? Maybe can you say a little more about her opening to that, and how long have you been doing energy clearing, and say a little more about how you both started doing this work?
Yes, well, she's been involved in flower essences, I think, as long as probably 15 years. I've been involved in doing one kind of, I got started after many years of study. I got started as a rebirther in 1975. And I rebirthed over 1,000 people in the hot tub, and a bunch of people not in the hot tub over many years. And it's integrated now into what I do with people, which is a much milder form of breathing, but seems to work quite well. So I got started here, and I had amazing practice. I was in the hot tub. We were in the hot tub naked with person after person after person. Every 2 hours, somebody new would turn up, and then we'd hold them underwater and with the snorkel and nose plugs, and they'd go into their major trauma, touching upon it, and no one ever harmed. And many people healed. The main guy for one of the main teachers of Vipassana meditation, Joseph Goldstein, said after his rebirthing session, he said, "Oh, this is where we get to after a 40-day retreat." And I thought, well, that's a pretty good validation. So yes, so the work I do gets people to spaces that they've not been before, and I try to get them comfortable with these new spaces.
By the way, I've experienced a version of the rebirthing work myself too in water, so I know the impact it can make.
Things can happen that are very beneficial. There's some people are, people have different kinds of experiences, but I have good ones.
So at fairs, are people sitting with you, or are they laying down? Like what happens?
Well, at this point in my work, people are just sitting across from me or on the phone. I do a lot of phone work because it's, for some of us, it's very suitable to have the abstraction of phone work without any visual distraction. And it's like, it makes me incredibly focused.
And how do some people come with specific questions? They know there's something they want to work on, and sometimes do you just experience energetically what's there and then bring up the topics to talk with them, or how does that happen?
Well, it's different. If somebody is, people come to me online for, and to Patti too, for soul path clearing.
I guess if we could just focus on what it's like for people at a fair, that would be great.
So yeah, so people at a fair, if they come up to the booth, I'll be happy to just discuss what I do and offer a brief version of it. And Patti will discuss what she does, which is, she she does the soul path clearing too. She integrates it with flower essence work. I do the soul path clearing and I integrate it with emotional freedom and hypnosis. So it's like we have these different angles covered. But the flower essences are truly a wonderful way of integrating soul work, because, and we've created over 80 individual flower essences from our own gardens. That is to say, Patti mostly and me contributing. And we've made, I think it's 15 special blends for curious life situations. Like the most recent one is called Grace in Grieving. Because we're finding that there are a lot of people grieving right now. Sometimes personal grieving and sometimes for the world. But it's in the air very much. So that's important to us now. And it's not something that you just make go away. We do our best to find grace in it and make something out of it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so we have others, like breaking through for people who want to go whoopee.
Great.
So come see what special blends there are for life. And Patti does individual blends too, personalized. Right there, she will douse a whole set of flower essences that mixed together will make something better than any one of them.
Right, a customized blend for that person, for what's there
Absolutely.
for them.
Oh, and that's very wonderful. Because if you consistently do flower essences, you really contribute to your soul expansion. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's a contributing tool. So that's what we're interested in, is tools that contribute to soul expansion. Personal growth used to be called, but that's what it is.
Great. Well, how can people find you online to find more about what you do and connect?
The website is worldenergyhealing.com.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And so for everyone listening, you can find out more about our events. We're in Seattle, Portland, Eugene, and Salem. You can find out more, our schedule, at MetaphysicalEmpowermentEvents.com. We look forward to seeing you soon.